So you got two new tapping things, and then I'm going to go over the rhythm that you worked on and then talk through an additional page. I'm not going to write anything down on the additional page. I'll let you go ahead and print out and write on that one, but I'll explain what's happening. Hopefully that'll help you get it down. So we have some sliding with your tapping hand on these two new ideas. So it sounds like this. That's too many. So what you're doing, pretty standard at first, you got your tap, pull, hammer, and then you're going to go tap, slide, slide, pull, pull. Tap, slide up, slide back down, pull off, pull off. And then just change up your tapping notes. That is that first one. Next one's fairly similar, but you're only going to be sliding up. I like the way it sounds, that's why I gave it to you so quickly. That was incorrect. So here it is slow. Okay, so that's the tapping stuff. Now, I just printed out what you did last time. I know you erased what you had underneath, so I'll write that in as we go. And hopefully this will show up okay on the camera here. So the first one in question, and actually you have the exact same rhythm on all of those, so just answering the one is going to answer all of them. Ugh. So what you're looking at, actually wait a second, that looks a little different. I wonder why they did it like that. That's weird why they did it that way. Oh, actually they're saying one guitar is carrying over, well the other one's not. Okay, well, put it this way. You got, remember this is the same, happening at the same time. Well, that's going at the same time. So here and here, that's the same rhythm, and then here and here, those two are the same rhythm stuff. You're basically going to end up pretty much the same thing for here, for the top one and the bottom one. So we meant you had the tie stuff up here, and there's actually one spot, now that I think about it, that I think you missed. Or no, you didn't miss that. I guess in the scan it didn't turn out too well, but now that it's printed I see it, so never mind. Oh, actually, no. There it is. Okay, maybe you just forgot, but looking right here, you got 1, 2, third line, second bar here. You didn't underline the upbeat of 2. So that needs to be underlined because you're playing on that, because you're playing on the and, 2, and 4, and. So that needs to be underlined. So that's how that should look now. So and, 2, and 4, and. So looking down here at the one in question. So this is a quarter note rest, which gets a full beat. That is an eighth note rest, which gets half a beat. And And whoops, I'm pointing at the wrong thing. Sorry. Here we go. This chord here was tied over to these notes. So that's tied notes, and its quarter note is tied to, and actually it's a dotted quarter note. So the quarter note getting a full beat. The eighth note is what's added to the quarter note. Remember, the dotted notes means you're adding half the value to what's dotted. So half of a quarter note is an eighth note. So that's why you are adding an eighth note, the time of an eighth note, to the time of a quarter note. So that lasts a beat and a half. So that lasts over beats 1 in the first part of 2. So this is coming in here, that note on the upbeat of 3. I'm sorry, the upbeat of 2. This comes in on beat 3, this comes in on beat 4. So even if you worked it backwards, that could help, because this is a quarter note, and you originally had this ending on an upbeat. It cannot end on an upbeat, because it's a quarter note. Quarter note lasts full beat. Saying something is on the upbeat can only be like an eighth note. So the time or the note value wouldn't work. So this is what it looks like after you have the count written out properly. I really hope I'm getting all this stuff in the screen. But there you go. So you have and 3, 4. That's how that part's counted. And 3, 4, because this is just carrying over, so you're not playing anything on the 1, 2. So you got your 1, 2, and 3, 4 coming in on and 3, 4. That's the same thing for over here, because you got the dotted quarter note, eighth note, quarter note, quarter note. So that lasts a beat and a half. Then you come in on the upbeat of 2, play on beat 3 and beat 4. So there you go. Same thing again. So you're just playing on and 3, 4. So you're going to play on the same thing here and here. It's just this is not, that last chord isn't tied over to the next bar. They just have rest symbols. So that's a quarter note rest, which gets a beat of 1. That is an eighth note rest, which gets a half a beat. And then you come in on the upbeat of 2, play on 3 and 4. So it's the same thing for both. You got your and 3, 4 here, and 3, 4 there. So looks like you broke the rest of that pencil, so go ahead and erase what you did have. Put in the correct thing. Ken, I think somebody's dying in the damn bathroom downstairs because I've been waiting to go for a long ass time. I'm trying my best to think clearly as I do this. Let's see. I'm gonna grab the page that I scanned and sent to you. Where did I put it? Alright, here we go. Page 132. Let's see here. Okay. Alright. Hopefully I'll get this to... So look... What I want you to do is use that piece of paper while I explain this stuff, because it's I know it's not the best thing, like showing it on the camera, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to make it. I can't really tell if it's on the screen or not when I'm holding it up there. So you have something new here, and I'll kind of go back and forth between like holding it up and whatnot. But basically, up here, you have a vocal melody. A lot of times in tab books or magazines and whatnot, they'll have that listed out as well. I want you to do the rhythm, write out the rhythm for that too. It's good practice. Even though you're not going to play it, it's good to know how to count the rhythm stuff. So, I'm going to try and keep this on the camera, but definitely use that scan that I sent to help you follow along. So, looking here, it starts with an eighth note rest, and then you have two 16th notes. So you can tell it's the 16th notes because it has two flags, and they're connecting two 16th notes together. So it would be like you have your 1E and a, and he's coming in on the and a, and then you have two eighth notes, and then an eighth note followed by a quarter note followed by an eighth note. So you have you're coming in on the upbeat of the 1 for the and a. So you got your and 2 and 3 and then you have an eighth note rest to finish out the bar here. So this goes over the 2 and 3 and 4 would be right here, and then you're going to not play anything on the upbeat of 4. Right here you have two eighth notes and a quarter note, so you get your 1 and 2, and then this right here is your half note rest. So beats 3 and 4, nothing's happening on that, you're just waiting. So you just have the 1 and 2. This is going to be more straightforward. So you got your 1 and 2 and 4 and. So you got 4 eighth notes, eighth note rest, 3 eighth notes. Then you have 4 eighth notes here, 2 quarter notes, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Alright, now we go down here to this next line. Let's see if I can get more closer to the camera. Alright, let's see if that works okay. Alright, so next line, vocal melody first, eighth note rest to begin with, and then 3 eighth notes, quarter note, 2 eighth notes. So you're coming in on the upbeat of 1, you got and 2 and 3, 4 and. And then next we have 2 eighth notes, quarter note, and a half note rest. So you're just going 1 and 2. Beats 3 and 4, nothing happens. Guitar part, same as above. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And down here, all you have is vocal melody written out because it's just having you play the same thing you did up here. So right here in the tab section it says guitars 1 and 2 with rhythm figure 1. Rhythm figure 1 is started up here. So it says rhythm figure 1, and then over here it says end rhythm figure 1. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 bars right there, that's rhythm figure 1. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars right there, and that's where you just play rhythm figure 1 again. So they do that to save room. So just going through the vocal melody part, you have 4 eighth notes, and actually a 5th eighth note there, quarter note, eighth note. So you got 1 and 2 and 3 and. So you're holding this over beat number 4, coming in again on the upbeat of 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and. And then 1 and 2 again, half note rest. And down here you have the eighth note rest, 3 eighth notes in a row there, and then you have 4 eighth notes in a row there. So looking at this, it is not a tie note. You can tell that because if you look here at that circle, this circle is lower than that circle. So this is a different note change. This is basically a vocal hammer-on. So you need to count that. So you have the upbeat of 1, or I'm sorry, you have the downbeat of 1 as an eighth note rest. You come in on the upbeat of 1, so you have and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you have 1 and 2, just like we've been doing, because you got 2 eighth notes, quarter note. Then you have a quarter note rest followed by a 16th note rest. The 16th note rest looks a lot like the 8th note rest, but it has 2 little flags sticking out there, as opposed to the 1 like here. So that just like with these, this is an 8th note because it has 1 flag, a 16th note because it has 2 flags. So you got the 16th note rest followed by a dotted 8th note. So the dotted 8th note, you've got the 8th note which lasts half a beat, and then when you put the dot on, you're adding half of that value to the note. So half an 8th note is a 16th note. So that's why that lasts an 8th note plus a 16th note. So this comes in, so like if you wrote out your 4E and a, this comes in on the E. So again, if you write right here where this 16th note rest is, you got 4E and a, you're coming in on the E. And down here, so this is not the same note, so that's not a tie mark. So we got your 1 and 2 and 3E and not 3E and that'd be 3E and so we have two 16th notes followed by an 8th note here, so it gets a little more complicated. So 4 8th notes, two 16th notes, and an 8th note, so that's going to be your 3E and then you have an 8th note rest, which is on beat number 4. You come in again on the upbeat of 4, so 1 and 2 and 3E and 1 and 2 and 3E and this and this note and this note are the same note, so this is tied here. This note and this note are the same note, so those are tied. Just want to see if I'm still in the camera here. Good grief, I hope so. I've been saying a lot of stuff. So because this is tied from that note, you're coming in on the upbeat of 1 here. And then because this note is tied to that, you're going to be coming in, so like if you have the 2E and a written out, you're going to come in on the E. This comes in on beat 3, and then the quarter note rest takes care of beat number 4. So you got and E3. So you're coming in on the upbeat of 1, and then you're going to write out the 2E and a. You come in on the E. And that's, so you got the 16th note here followed by a dotted 8th note, so that's basically the same thing as 3 16th notes, and you come in again on beat 3. Nothing happens on beat 4. This last bar right here on that line, you have the 8th note rest followed by 4 8th notes, quarter note, 8th note. So you have and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and then at the bottom here for the guitar, you do have some tied notes to pay attention to. So here to here, or here to here, this is tied to this. This is tied to here, and this is tied to here. This note, well, this is going to be tied over on another page. So you just got your 1 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 4 and. So I do all this bottom line again for the guitars. You got 1 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 4 and. So hopefully all that makes sense. Teaching rhythm stuff like this can be a bit of a challenge over Skype, but hopefully all that made sense. Please ask me any questions if you do have any. And hopefully that damn bathroom's open. I think someone's dying in there. I will, I guess, plan on seeing you on Skype next week, unless I hear otherwise.